The year was 1908, a time when wealth defined respect and class decided destiny. In a bustling city shaped by factories, horse-drawn carriages, and grand mansions, lived a young man named Edward Harrington. He was born into privilege, raised in silk-lined rooms, and taught that comfort was his birthright. His father was a powerful industrialist, his mother a woman of strict traditions. Edward had everything a man could desire except peace. Despite his riches, his heart felt restless, searching for something money could not buy. On the other side of the city lived a young woman named Clara Miller. Her world was small but honest, built from narrow streets, modest homes, and endless struggle. She worked from dawn till dusk, helping her widowed mother, her hands rough from labor, yet gentle in nature. Clara possessed a quiet strength, a dignity untouched by poverty. She smiled icily, spoke kindly, and carried hope, even when life offered little in return. She did not know it then, but her simplicity would soon challenge the foundations of a powerful family. Edward first saw Clara near a textile workshop, where she paused to drink water after hours of work. There was nothing grand about the moment, yet it struck him deeply. Her laughter was soft, her eyes sincere. He began finding excuses to pass that street, to catch another glimpse. Slowly, conversations followed, awkward at first, then effortless. Edward felt alive with her, in ways he never had before. Clara, though hesitant, sensed honesty in him. Love grew quietly, fragile, yet fearless. When Edward's family discovered the relationship, their response was swift and cruel. Clara was deemed unworthy, her poverty an insult to their name. His father warned him that love was temporary, but status was eternal. His mother spoke of shame and lost respect. They offered Edward everything: inheritance, comfort, influence if he abandoned the girl. The pressure was immense, but Edward's heart had already chosen. For the first time, he questioned the value of a life built on pride without love. Against his family's will, Edward made a choice that shocked his world. He walked away from his father's wealth, his luxurious home, and the life prepared for him since birth. He married Clara quietly, without blessing or celebration. They moved into a small rented house, its walls thin, its floors worn. The transition was harsh. Edward struggled with labor he had never known. His hands blistered, his body ached, and doubt often crept in. But Clara stood beside him, never allowing regret to take root. Life tested them relentlessly. There were nights with little food and days filled with exhaustion, yet Clara's belief in Edward never faltered. She encouraged him when work was scarce, reminded him of his strength when he felt weak. Edward learned the value of effort, humility, and perseverance. Slowly, opportunities appeared. He took risks, learned trades, and built something of his own, not with inheritance, but determination. Each small success felt greater than any fortune he had once known. Years passed, and their small house became a home filled with warmth. They welcomed a son and a daughter, both healthy and radiant. Parenthood brought new challenges, but also purpose. Edward worked harder than ever, driven by love rather than expectation. Clara managed the home with grace, raising their children with values of respect, kindness, and resilience. Together, they built a life rooted not in wealth, but in trust and unity. As time moved on, Edward's efforts bore fruit. He established a successful business, modest at first, then thriving. They moved into a larger home, not extravagant, but earned. Their children grew educated, thoughtful, and compassionate. They knew their parents' story and carried pride not in riches, but in sacrifice. Edward and Clara watched with quiet joy as their children stepped into the world, strong and capable. In their later years, age slowed Edward and Clara, but peace filled their hearts. Their children, now grown, cared for them with devotion, ensuring comfort and dignity. The same man, once cast out by wealth, now lived surrounded by love. Looking back, Edward understood that walking away from luxury had given him something far greater, life of meaning. Clara, beside him, knew that love supported by patience and courage could overcome any divide. And so, their story ended not in tragedy, but fulfillment. A reminder that harsh beginnings do not define endings, and that love, when chosen bravely, can transform sacrifice into legacy. Their lives prove that true wealth is not inherited, is built together.